You are in luck today because we are doing a juicy Q&A session. These are accumulation of the questions you guys have asked me on Instagram stories, Instagram DMs, TikTok comments, TikTok DMs, TikTok live. All of the questions have been accumulated into this very podcast. So you are in the right place at the right time to get all of your questions answered. Business, personal life, manifestation, mindset, all the questions are being answered today, and it's going to be a juicy one. So I am so excited you're here, and let's dive in.
Welcome to Perspective with Kaylee Phillips, the safe space to get deep, break through, and find alignment. Here we prioritize wholehearted self-love, passion-driven careers, and living your absolute best life. You're here for a reason, so jump into the good energy, put your rose-colored glasses on, and tune in for massive impact and growth. I'm your host, KP, ready to release perfect and welcome perspective.
If you are here on YouTube, you are getting the special content of what is on my TV at all times. This is always on. When I'm not watching TV, this is what's on. And it has a little background music, but this gives me so much serenity. You have to go on YouTube and see it. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it just gives me so much peace and serenity, and I don't know, I'm just obsessed with it. It like heals my inner child every day. So let's get straight into this Q&A session. I'm honestly so excited to answer all of your questions because you guys have good questions, and I'm here for every single one. I am pulling back the curtain, total transparency, telling you literally everything that you're asking. So the first question that I got a few times from new community members is, why did I change my name from Aligned with KP to Align with KP? And if you caught this, you are so cool, because you might have caught it because my YouTube was updated last. So it went like Instagram and TikTok were updated right away. Pinterest just got updated recently, and YouTube got updated last because I didn't realize my header still said Aligned with KP. So a few of you caught it and you were like, hey, wait, like your TikTok and your Instagram socials and your website say Align, but everything else says Aligned. So what is that about? The answer is, I had an epiphany one day, and if you've been in my community, you probably saw me go through this epiphany because it was all over my Instagram stories the day that it happened and the day that I decided to change my account. It was a huge day. But I realized that I always talk to you guys about how there is no final destination in alignment. There's no day where you're going to say, okay, alignment is done. I'm going to check it off my to-do list and put it away in the archives because I'm aligned now. It makes me laugh because it's not a thing. I'm not even, quote, aligned. It's not a final destination. It's a journey. It's a lifestyle. It's a constant daily commitment to yourself to say, I'm going to choose alignment today. How am I going to choose alignment each day? And there's just no final destination. So for my account to say Aligned with KP was giving the message that when you work with me, you will reach a final destination of complete alignment, and that just does not exist. Especially because in the work that we do, even in business, because I think a lot of us say, like, I want to find alignment in business, and you may find that peace and alignment in your messaging. For example, let's say you finally feel aligned in the way that you speak to your audience and your messaging and your content. But then comes the next piece of, okay, let's find alignment in the next offer you're going to create, and then let's find alignment in the way you sell that, and then let's do it again and again and again. And it gets to be such a beautiful journey, you know, like even when we check off one certain element, there's the next piece and the next piece and the next piece, just like life. You know, it's not like we achieve a goal and then we're like, okay, we're done, fitness journey done, not going to that again after we did this 30-day Pilates challenge. Now fitness is over. You know, it's the same thing. It's a constant work in progress. So for me to say aligned is past tense, and that just, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense with the brand. It doesn't make sense with the work that we do together. So that's why I changed it to Align with KP, because when you come into my world, you're choosing alignment, and you are every single day showing up to align with me. So that's why we made the change. That little ED changes so much about the meaning of what we're talking about. So that's why we changed it. The next question: what is your favorite thing about running an online business? There are so many things that I love about running this online business, and I think I have such a unique perspective because this is the only real job besides like working at Dunkin' part-time for a few months that I've ever had. So I don't have that perspective of well, my 9 to 5 was this, and now my business is this. This is what I curated from the ground up, and this is my work. This is what I know. So I think I have a unique perspective, but even still, at these little snippets I see of like family members talking about going to work after a holiday or complaining about how tired they are or how they hate their boss, I just love being in control of my day. Like going to Trader Joe's whenever I want in the afternoon, being able to take Mason to the dog park every single day, and having that freedom to sleep in and go to morning Pilates classes if I feel like it, or work in the middle of the night. That was one of my favorite things when I first started this business, like being able to just log on at 2 a.m. because I'm up and I'm binging a show and I just feel like building out something for my clients or updating client work because I can. And not in the way of like I'm hustling all night, but in the way of I took a rest day today and now I'm choosing to work in the middle of the night because I can. And that just so excites me. But honestly, with all of those things about myself and my life, which I really love, that freedom, it's really important to me. But at the end of the day, the thing that I love truly the most is you guys. Like connecting with you, building connections with you, being able to talk in Instagram DMs with people on the other side of the world talking about their goals and their dreams, and me walking through Trader Joe's listening to voice messages and being able to envision like, wow, this person is really working towards their goals and I get to be a part of that. That privilege is something I recognize and find so much gratitude in every single day. I'm so beyond grateful for it, and it really impacts my life constantly. I'm always thinking about the impact that I get to make and that privilege to speak here to you guys and the platform that you guys have given me to be able to make that impact. And that is my favorite thing. It gives me such a deep sense of purpose and belonging and fulfillment that is just indescribable. So it's like a combination of my lifestyle freedom and that, but really what takes the trophy or takes the hat. What's that phrase? I don't know. I feel like I want to say takes the hat, but I don't even think that's a thing. Maybe it is. I don't know. You guys let me know if that's a thing on the YouTube comments. But really the thing is you guys. You guys are my favorite thing. Okay, the next question here. Do you ever feel imposter syndrome because you were so young when you started? Not anymore, but I used to. I used to really feel that. Now I feel empowered by it because I allowed myself to shift that mindset. And I did a lot of meditation on that, like that it's a power, it's a superpower. And I want to inspire you to do that. Anything that you're insecure about, how can you turn it into a superpower? But yeah, at first I definitely got some advice, some coaching advice to say like, maybe don't tell people your age. Maybe don't say that you're only 19. Maybe don't mention college. And that really took away from my authenticity, taking that advice as a vulnerable newbie in this entrepreneurship space back in 2021, early 2021. There was a lot of business coaches out here, and I got a lot of advice to just keep it silent. And I'm sure if you're on here, if you've been an entrepreneur for a while, you might have gotten that advice to not tell anyone that you're in a 9 to 5 and like keep that a secret and pretend that you're full time to kind of build credibility. And I do not agree with that at all. I believe in authenticity so wholeheartedly, because that's your truth. And if we're building a business on a lie, then what are we doing? And I guess you could argue like there's a difference between lying and just like not sharing your whole life story, and I'm here for that. But if you are someone who, on a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being business and personal are completely separate, and 10 being I want to share my life completely with my audience, if you want to share your life and build a personal brand in association with your business, how on earth are we going to do that if you're not able to say, guess what? Today I'm leaving my 9 to 5. This is a huge accomplishment. Guess what? Today I'm dropping out of college. If I wasn't able to share that I dropped out of college, I would feel such a big gap in my story, So I did in the beginning receive some advice to keep it hidden, and I thought about that for like a hot minute, but I ended up sharing everything, and I did feel a little anxiety around being so young and being surrounded by like a lot of older people in their mid-20s and 30s while I'm still in my teens. But again, I turned it into a superpower that I started so young, and I had that motivation and drive to do it when I was younger. And I don't feel imposter syndrome anymore, but I did. And if you are experiencing something like that, imposter syndrome about your age at all, young, old, whatever it is, don't worry about it, please. It is a superpower wherever you're at. And remember what I always say, you are always in the right place at the right time. And this is the time on your journey that you're supposed to do this. Young, old, in between, there's really, age is just a number. And we are always moving in our own timing with our own lessons and opportunities to experience. So there's no sense in comparing to someone else because their journey is just completely different from yours. The next question, did your Crohn's diagnosis impact your business at all? Yeah. Yes, it did. Yes, it did so much. I think the biggest way that my business was impacted is the mindset of forgiveness and forgiving yourself and taking your goals slowly and giving yourself credit, because changing my diet has been so incredibly challenging, and I mess up a lot. I even just messed up yesterday. And I need to give myself grace, because if I put a lot of energy towards being mad at myself and blaming myself and getting aggravated and frustrated with myself because I wasn't consistent and I messed up and I gave in, then that's energy that could have been gone towards motivating myself and giving myself credit and moving forward. You know, it really just holds me back, and I watched that hold me back tremendously because I just put so much energy towards being frustrated, and it's not helpful to the cause. It's not helpful to the goal in any way, shape, or form. So it has changed my business tremendously because I am adding that element so much stronger. It's given me such a deeper sense of understanding when goals feel hard. Sometimes it feels hard. It's not always easy, even with the right manifestation approach and the aligned approach. It can feel really challenging to achieve certain things, and giving ourselves permission to mess up is so important. Aside from that mindset aspect though, my Crohn's diagnosis has changed my business just in the sense that I'm giving myself permission to rest more, because my fatigue and pains were not normal. You know, I think a lot of times when we get these diagnoses, we're like, oh, okay, so that wasn't just normal. That's not something everyone experiences. That's a sign. That's a clear symptom. And granted, changing my diet does help a lot with the symptoms, but I still do experience them. So there's no need to keep pushing through a work day because I'm like, oh, this is normal. You know, like I would just be like, this is a normal thing. Everyone has this. I didn't realize that it was clear symptoms. So that has been a big game changer for me. Someone says, I love your content. Thank you so much. What is coming next for you? You mentioned you'd only be at this apartment for a year on YouTube in your vlog, and now it's been almost a year. I'm not a stalker, LOL. I just watched it for the first time in a YouTube binge. I love this so much. So yes, I think the vlog that they're referencing is when I did an apartment tour of this apartment. So I did the apartment tour at my first apartment, then I did the apartment tour here last May, and now it's April. So yeah, I am moving actually. This lease ends in June and we are leaving. So right now we live in the city, and it's awesome to be able to walk outside and have everything. Like I literally can step outside my door, outside of this complex, and I have Dunkin', Starbucks, ramen, Chinese, Chipotle, paint store. I'm like trying to think down the street what else I have. Boba, a paint class place, a dance studio, a karate place. Like literally everything is just like right here. Everything is in a 30-second to 5-minute walk, and that is really cool. And it's been awesome because I drive a lot less. I'm walking all the time, especially when the weather's nice. I'm just constantly outside, constantly getting my steps in, and it just feels very accessible, and it's cool. It's like I did that thing where I lived in the city for a little while, and now that I've done that for a year, we are ready to have more of a homey vibe, especially with Mason. I want him to have a yard. I want him to have a front door that leads straight to outside, not an elevator. So I am done with the elevator lifestyle. I did it for 2 years, and now we are moving to a more homey place. So yeah, I'll update you guys more on that, but that is what's next. And thanks for asking, and I love that you did a YouTube binge. If you're here on YouTube now, thank you so much for being here. If you're listening on regular podcasts, YouTube is really cool because we do live filming of the podcast, but that's not all there is. We also do weekly vlogs and just lifestyle stuff over there. So if you want to go subscribe for that type of content, that's what's happening over on YouTube. And that's what this question was referencing. Okay. Next question. What is your Dunkin' coffee order? Yes. Okay. So currently my Dunkin' coffee order is a medium cold brew with oat milk, butter pecan, and a blueberry shot. And this makes it taste like a blueberry muffin. And I'm obsessed with it. I am so obsessed. Highly recommend, like 10 out of 10. If you're more of a latte person, same thing. Latte, oat milk, butter pecan, and a blueberry shot. It is so, so, so good. Don't knock it till you try it, because I knocked it. I was like, I do not want blueberry in my coffee. That's so weird. Why would I want a fruit in my coffee? But no, it's so, so, so good. It's so good. Underrated for sure. How do you balance lifestyle and business? Is it hard to break the professionalism stereotypes and show your authentic life while still getting clients? Wow, that is such a good question. You guys ask really good questions. Essentially, no, it's not hard because I decided it's not going to be hard, but there are people out there who will tell you it's hard or it's impossible or it's wrong. There are definitely coaches out there that will say if you want to start a business where you're providing a service, then you cannot act like an influencer and share your life. You need to keep it professional. And while I hear you on that point, I think it's really essential to ask yourself again, to what degree do I want my audience to know who I am and connect with me personally? And in the alignment work that we do, it's so important for you to see my lifestyle because it's a key part of the transformation here. Like when you're downloading my journal guides or when you're downloading the camp course, or if you're joining the alignment circle, it's yes because of the science of manifestation and the key things that I teach you in our modules and the tangible elements. Yes, there's a lot that I teach, and the mindset work is based in psychology and communications and all of that. Sure, yes, valid. But there's the additional element of my life being the proof, you know, my dream life being young and having my apartment and having the life, and just like showing that aspect to you is so important. It's an important content pillar, right? So it's not hard because it's so aligned for me. And if anything, it brings me more clients. I've never had someone say, oh, she shares too much of her life, I don't want to work with her. And if they do say that, then we are not meant to work together. You know what I'm saying? So when you're thinking about your business, you have to think, how connected do I want to be with my clients and with my community? And that's really your answer for how much of your life to share and how deep to go into that like line between influencer and business professional. But starting so young, business professional was never really in the cards for me anyway. I've always kept it so real and just been so open with you guys because that's how I want my community to feel. And I want you guys to feel this as a safe, open space. Last question here. Advice for where to start for people that want to build their dream life but feel stuck. Yes. So I would definitely recommend go and download the free masterclass on my website because we do talk a bit about getting out of that stuck feeling and moving forward and taking control of your life. But my advice for you is to do the next best thing and stop waiting. I think often we wait for someone to come get us, or we wait for a perfect moment. Like, okay, this is the perfect time to go out and do the thing, quit my job. And that just isn't going to come. Yes, divine timing exists in the sense that we move when we're supposed to. But I think sometimes we question or misinterpret the idea of divine timing for perfect timing, and that doesn't exist. The divine timing is when your intuition says yes, and your mind says yes, and your body says yes, and all of the pieces fall into place for you. But there's not going to be a perfect time where it literally is just perfect and there's no risk and you're perfectly in your comfort zone ready to take the next step. That doesn't happen. So ask yourself, what are my goals? Right? What do you want to do? Whatever the goal is. And then ask yourself, what is the next best thing today that I can do? And always be moving towards that. That's your micro goals. Do something each day for your future self, even if it's the smallest things like listening to this podcast or doing some mindset work or learning more about manifestation, learning more about yourself, figuring out what your passion is. Do something every day for yourself. That is my best advice, because when I say, you know, if I'm going to come on here and say, just go for it, just start your business tomorrow, buy your LLC, it can be really overwhelming. And then that can create that burnout where we're like, we go all in, full body in, and then we get overwhelmed, and then we're like, whoa, and we need to take a step back, and then we kind of like create resistance to it. I don't want you to do that. I want you to set those micro goals and be intentional with it and create a story that you're going to be proud to tell. So that's my advice for you. And my advice is just to binge the podcast. Reach out to me. I would love to answer any questions that you have. I love talking with you guys. Like I said, you guys are my favorite part of all of this, and it's so inspiring to talk with you about your goals. Your inspiration inspires me. It's a constant cycle of you guys being inspired to grow and then me being inspired to help you grow, and we just move and groove together and create all of this magic. So I'm so happy you're here. Thanks for tuning into the Q&A. Thank you for asking all of these amazing questions, and thank you for being part of my community. Go ahead and follow on TikTok, follow on Instagram, send me a message on Instagram. Let me know that you've tuned into the podcast. Leave a review on the podcast if you are a listener here and you're liking the content and you're into it and you're enjoying. I would love to hear from you so that we can build the podcast and reach more people, because the more people we reach, the better world we get to create together. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for being a part of my community. Download that free masterclass in the description below, and you can also download the 30-day alignment challenge that is still here for you guys. You can start it at any time. Happy April. Let's make April the best month ever. If you're tuning in later on in a binge of the podcast, happy whatever day it is. Today can be your day one, because any day can be your day one. So go ahead and download that 30 days of alignment guide, and thank you again so much for being here. Have a lovely rest of your day.